The lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened. Everything about us is going to be glorified.
The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. All right, and what I want to get into today, is the system of Satan, and we know that word Satan, or Shaitan in the Hebrew, all right, goes back to adversary, all right, and this devil, Esau Edom, and he's the physical, counterpart of Satan in the earth, okay, he runs a society, that's adverse to righteousness, okay, and we know that, Satan is set up by the Most High on the left-hand side, okay, for the purpose of good and evil, okay, and these devils, no heathen embodies, Satan, all right, the spirit of Satan like Esau, which is meant to be adverse against righteousness, man, okay, and right now, Satan has these devils, on their assignment, to push society further and further, into rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and this system that runs the earth is a very satanic system. People get caught up in this, this whole thing of Republican and Democrat and capitalism and socialism and all these different isms, and but at the end of the day, it's all satanic. All of it. Okay, the whole thing is satanic. You see? So you go into this word adversity. All right, meaning. Okay, just look it up real quick. Or adversary, so like trip. Okay. Adversary meaning. So let's look at it real quick, and then we'll go into the precepts. So you go into this word adversary. Okay. So you go into adversary, says one's opponent in a contest, conflict, or dispute. Okay, it says an enemy, all right, opponent, a rival, a nemesis, antagonist, combatant, okay, a challenger, a contender, opposition. Okay, and this devil, runs a society. All right, that's a complete opposition to righteousness, man. That's a rival to righteousness. That's an enemy, a foe to righteousness, man. Okay, and that's why when you go into the scriptures, let's go here. Okay, when you go to the book of St. John, let's get St. John chapter 2. And I got a few videos I want to get into as well, but when you go to St. John chapter 2, okay, so well, First John, so like First John chapter 2, okay, and verse 15, 1 John 2 and 15, it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Okay, because this is a society, there's anti-Messiah, there's anti-righteousness in opposition to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. So there's no way that you can have any love for this world, which is in complete opposition, okay, for anything righteous. Okay, it's in complete opposition into, okay, the righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. So there's no way you can have love for the world and the love of the Father be in you at the same time. Okay, and that's why, you have guys that try to play the fence, and the Most High just push them all the way into the world, because love of the world puts you in complete opposition to the Father, man, to the will, all right, that the Heavenly Father has on the right-hand side. You can't obey the Heavenly Father's will on the left and the right hand. You got to do one. Okay, and this world, okay, operates, all right, in the left hand. Okay, verse 16 says, "For all right, that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of this world, man, of this age." And this is the age of anti-Messiah. Okay, this is the age of anti-righteousness, man. Well, it's glorified, it's cute, it's funny. Okay, to be against, okay, the Most High, to be against a higher power, to question a higher power and make jokes and laugh and be comical when it comes to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. It's tolerated in this age because this age is in opposition to the Most High. Okay, you see, it says that the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever, man. You see, we've left off, okay, the lust of this world, all right, the cares of this world, the ambition, within this world, within this age. And we've taken hold to something that's eternal, man. And that begins with the fear, all right, and the reverence of a higher power, and begin to walk in this wisdom, okay, according to faith. We've embarked on the path of immortality, man. Okay, this world passes away. This age is passing away. Okay, the age of Esau, Edom, Okay, the age of Satan passeth away. You see, this was always meant to be a temporal setup. Okay, so now we're getting to the end of this thing. All right, and what we're seeing is wickedness peak out. Wickedness is reaching a peak. Okay, to where they're just casual disrespect and blasphemy of Yahweh Bashim Shah with no care, with no thought. So when you read on verse 18, it said, "Little children, it is the last time, and as you have heard that Messiah shall come, even now are there many anti-Messiahs, whereby we know that it is the last time." So the earth is saturated with the spirit of anti-Messiah, anti-Yahushua, anti-righteousness, man. Okay? Is many, because it is multiplying. Each generation gets more satanic, okay, and more anti-Messiah. That's why the Lord just finna cut it short. Okay, because each generation will only become more satanic and anti-Messiah, man. It'll be more death, confusion, chaos, to the point no flesh will make it. Okay, because you can't run a society under Satan. You see, that doesn't work. You see, societies wasn't meant to be ran, okay, under Satan. That's why they all decay. And there's no society, okay, that's more satanic than this one. Okay, Revelation 11:8 says, "In their dead bodies," the dead bodies being Israel, and this is speaking of spiritually dead, "shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified." Okay, well, Yahushua is X'd out. Okay, we know he was crucified, okay, over 2,000 years ago, going back into Judea. You see, but this is where they spiritually cross them out. That's why it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. We're just speaking of America, all right, which has the spirit of Sodom on it. Okay, lewdness, and also the spirit of Egypt, going back to the culture. And Egypt was an anti-Messiah culture. When you go back to ancient Egypt. Okay, so what you have, all right, is a society, where righteousness is crossed out, is X'd out. Okay, and wickedness is the standard. It's Sodom, the behavior of Sodom and the culture of Egypt, okay, like I say, which was anti-Messiah. This is the standard. This is a cultural norm. This is acceptable. Okay, like I said, I got some videos I want to get into, okay, to just show you this society, man. And it only gets worse until judgment comes. Okay, so let's go to this one. Let's get this one first. So this is a little incident with a college student. She was writing a paper and she referenced, the Bible, and got a 0. So let's play this.
Tonight, we're hearing from the OU student who took her 0 grade to the governor, Samantha Fulnecki, a psychology junior who says she received a 0 grade for citing the Bible in her opinion-based essay on gender binary labels.
Adam, Samantha says that she's been receiving hate comments on social media for citing God as a source in her essay, but she's staying strong.
My main goal in this is to encourage other Christians to stand up for their beliefs.
Samantha Fulnecki says she received a perfect grade on every assignment in the online course she says is taught by 2 teaching assistants until this one.
I didn't know that the TA was transgender or about his personal beliefs or anything like that I just did the assignments and turned them in and went about my day. So there hadn't been any tension in the past until we were asked to do an assignment over this topic.
That's right. Organizers tell me they put this protest together to stand up for academic integrity, calling on the university to put the grad student back in the classroom. Meantime, Turning Point USA students here on campus continue to stand with that student, Samantha Fulnecki. Two sides of the University of Oklahoma's essay controversy clashing on the flagship campus Friday. An essay on gender using the Bible as its base was graded with a 0 by a transgender graduate instructor. The author, junior Samantha Fulnecki, says she was targeted for her religious beliefs and filed a formal complaint. The instructor is now on leave for the investigation. The university says the 0 won't count toward her final grade. Supporters of the instructor say the grade was about guidelines, not religion.
It's not discrimination. It really is accountability. You need to do the job. You need to do the work.
We spoke with a classmate off camera who completed the same assignment.
Citing the Bible and not using a source is inherently plagiarism, so it should be a report to academic affairs.
A short walk to the South Oval put protesters face to face with Turning Point USA members, standing with Fulnecki.
Yeah, we have to hold these teachers accountable.
Their president calls this an attack on Christianity.
She met the requirements. She did not deserve a 0. If she wanted to take points off because she didn't clearly state any empirical sources, then take some points off, but not an entire to be a complete 0.
She says school administration.
Yeah, so you have a divide, on the campus of Oklahoma University. Okay, you have some people, standing with the teacher, because it was a paper dealing with alphabet, and she's, this little chick, I guess she was a Christian. Okay, and see the Christianity, you see, it's cool when Christianity can be used, okay, for political gain. Like your white Christian nationalists, they use Christianity, to justify, okay, them being, just these righteous, traditional, moral Edomites that just have these traditional Christian values. Their values go back to Christianity, and they use it politically. But when you really go into the Bible, okay, and stand on anything that the Bible truly stands for, then it's an uproar. You see, it's an uproar. It's a whole protest now. Okay. So you had this student, write a paper, and obviously she spoke against, alphabet and used the Bible as a source and got a 0. And just like, the guy said, like, okay, let's say you did wanted to hold that against her for using the Bible. You could have just took points off, but she got a complete 0. Okay, she got the same score I got. And I didn't touch the paper. You see? So this just shows you that this is a society that's just geared towards righteousness, man. Then you got a transformer as a teacher, a psychology teacher. Here it is, you got someone that's absolutely, okay, unstable. Okay, the fact that they don't know what gender they are, but she's a psychologist. It's a psychology teacher. You don't know what it is. Okay, they don't understand what gender they are. Okay, but she's a psychology teacher. Just showing you how bizarro the world is, man. Okay, someone completely bugged out is teaching your child psychology. You're paying tens of thousands of dollars to go to a school, all right, where a transformer is teaching, psychology, man. Okay, this is a bugged out world, man. Bizarro, upside down world. Okay, and the fact that she used, okay, the Bible, as a source, cause an uproar, man. Okay, because this is a wicked kingdom. You see, it's a wicked world. The fact that this is allowed, okay, for the Bible to be protested, okay, shows you how wicked this society is, man. Okay. The Bible, you think in the kingdom the Bible is going to be protested? Okay, people are going to be marching and trying to protect alphabet rights, and they want to protect the teacher, and the teacher wasn't wrong, the student was wrong for citing the Bible, and it's not going to be these arguments, okay, and confusion in the kingdom, man. Okay, and this is why this place is called, Babylon the Great, man, because it's just a place of great confusion. Okay, and the Lord created the Bible to be the standard in the earth. Okay, and we were the people that was supposed to represent that standard. That's why the Lord was so pissed at us when we failed. When we disobeyed. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah 24:4. It said, the earth mourned and faded away. The world languisheth and faded away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Okay, so the earth is in the condition that it's in, all right, because the rulers of the earth don't utilize the Bible as the standard of the earth. It's not meant for him to do so. He's the devil. He's an Edomite. Okay, it's meant for him to have, a great disdain for righteousness, man. Okay, but that doesn't negate the fact that because they don't deal with the righteousness of the scriptures, all right, that the earth is in a decaying state. Okay, people are in the state of languishing. Okay, and that's why I say, you Americans, you cry about, the American dream is gone. You can't afford nothing, inflation, and you're working all these hours, and you're homeless now. And, day 83 of my homeless journey. But then this is what you do. You protest against the Bible, and you wonder why nothing is going in your favor. Okay, because you people are what? Anti-Messiah. Okay, you're a Satanist, man. Okay, you're an opponent. You're an enemy of Yahweh Shem Shai. And now, all right, judgments are starting to manifest themselves, man. Okay, to where you people out here hurt, and it's going to keep escalating. Judgment going to keep escalating till you get to verse 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left, man. That's going to be the nukes. Okay, it's going to knock down the population of the earth, and it's going to remove America's population from the earth, except for the elect that go into the chariots, man. Okay, America's whole population, it won't be one left of the American population. Okay, after this nuclear war, man, this third world war. Okay, now I want to jump down verse 10. It said, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. And you go into this word confusion, is breaking down this place of confusion. Okay, which is America, man. Okay, so in the Hebrew, it's Taha. All right, in the Hebrew, okay, for confusion, which goes into confusion, unreality. Okay, unreality, emptiness, that which is empty or unreal, of idols. Okay, nothingness, a vain society, man. Okay, people are just walking around, place of chaos, and that's for damn sure. Okay, people are just walking around confused. Okay, lost, arguing about nothing, things that don't make sense. People arguing about a bathroom, but this is the results of a satanic society. Okay, so you got people arguing about a bathroom, who go in what bathroom. Okay, what do they bring? what they bring to the table. Okay, niggas popping a balloon. Okay, it's just a completely demonic place of chaos, man. You see, just emptiness, man. And this is the results, okay, of a satanic society, man. Place of chaos, man. A worthless thing, man. You know, and this is a worthless society, man. A society not fit, okay, to be roaming around the earth free or alive. And that's why the judgment that's to come is going to be a slaughter from one end of the earth to the other, okay, and captivity for the rest of you heathen, man. Okay, because Esau has created a satanic society that shouldn't be roaming free, for the most part, even, okay, alive, man. All right, so let's go to this madness here. Now let's go to the flip side. Now let's look at this madness here, man.
This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. As everybody out there knows who has followed my channel over the years, even though I'm brand new to YouTube, my motto has always been that love wins. So I want to make it really clear before I do this video. Love wins. And of course, by love winning, I mean communism wins, right? Because everybody knows that love wins just really means let's embrace insanity and let's allow insane people to be empowered and have more rights than the sane people. Because when we do that, of course, what it leads to is laws and things put in place to silence people who are exposing a tyrannical rogue government. And eventually, of course, all the insane people will be silenced like all of us are. But I have to show you a couple of stories that popped up and I got wind of what's going on in the United States of Babylon, because it is absolutely hysterical, but frightening and sad at the same time. Now, the first story I'll show you is...
He called the United States of Babylon. You know? Exactly right, man.
Furries. That's right, furries. For those of you that don't know what a furry is, of course, I identify as a furry, so I don't want anybody out there to get me for hate speech. I identify as a furry, and I'm sure you guys do too. In my spare time, I dress up as Popeye the Sailor Man. I get one of those big costumes. Sometimes, actually, I do Donald Duck, but either or. And I get intimate with my fellow ladies who I don't even know if it's a girl or boy, whatever is underneath there. It's called furry action, right? You dress up as one of these animals. You know, you go to a theme park and you see Pluto or Mickey Mouse if you go to a CIA, Disney World. Well, I do that in my spare time. That's what furries do. So this is what furries are, right? They dress up as animals and somehow they're attracted to each other. Don't ask me. I mean, a long time ago, someone told me that there was rooms with padded walls that were literally created for people like this. But anyway, furries who are now popping up around elementary schools. And of course, we shouldn't be concerned about that, right? It's one thing to be a furry and to be allowed to exist. It's another thing if a furry is targeting kids. That's, I think, when a lot of us draw the line, which is exactly what we see the government doing with the LGBT movement that's going on. It wasn't enough for people just say, yeah, okay, let them get married. Their sin is their sin. They could deal with God after the fact. But they decided to empower the people and just continue to gaslight them to the point that they want to get into public schools and get into libraries and grind on kids. I mean, all sorts of insane stuff. So, of course, now everybody's infuriated by it because – well, you push sane people only so far, right? Well, here we have furries who are walking around in Sacramento, California, near an elementary school. And of course, they have satanic symbols written all over their bodies. I mean, I'll play the news clip for you, but it's funny to hear even just a guy out there, and he's like, I think it's some type of satanic pentagram on his body. That's right. Of course it is. And you think it's a coincidence that the furries have that written on? Because they're probably members of the local satanic temple. Because, of course, these people have religious freedoms protected, and people like me who are openly Christian, openly, I should just say, a devout follower of Jesus Christ, we are not protected by religious freedom. We are not protected at all whatsoever. But, of course, if you're a furry, you are. Take a look at what's going on in California.
Now to another story raising eyebrows. Tonight, parents are on alert in Antelope over a group of costumed characters spotted at a children's playground. Thanks for joining us here at 5:30. I'm Hunter Sowards.
And I'm Curtis Ming. Parents say the group is showing up to a park next to an elementary school. Your reporter Andrew Hobner has the furry fears and what the school district is saying about it.
It's a quiet afternoon in Antelope's Firestone Park, but Chris Williams says around the end of school is where the problems start.
I've given up everything I have to do. The principal never got back to me, and other parents.
This past week, costumed individuals known as furries have.
And you see the satanic, symbolism. Okay, and then these niggas just at the park chilling. Okay, now you're not gonna get a protest behind this, and they're at the park, a children's park. You don't know who these niggas are, what these niggas on. Niggas that dressed up in the costume, pentagram on their back, just at the bench chilling, on the bench chilling. Okay, showing you where we are, showing you what type of world this is, what type of age this is, man. This is the system of Satan, and they're getting more and more bold.
Been arriving at the park next to Olive Grove Elementary School.
They're causing trouble, making their TikTok videos, filming their arguments with parents that don't want them here.
Chris Williams was concerned about the uncertainty of the specific identities of the individuals.
The satanic, the pentagrams, the fact that we don't know who they are.
A concern further amplified when he was shown a suggestive TikTok of one of the costumed personas.
One of the kids said, "Oh, furries are here. This is their TikTok."
Another parent who wished to not be on camera expressed worry over the individuals arriving during a time of day when the most young children were out at the park. The Dry Creek Elementary School District telling CBS 13 in a statement, quote, "We are aware of the costumed individuals commonly referred to as furries being spotted at parks near 2 of our schools," and adding, "The furries are not breaking any laws by being dressed up in a public park. These parks are not part of the school grounds." Thursday afternoon, one was spotted on campus and law enforcement was called. The individual left campus but could be seen on the other side of the park later that day. As Williams echoes the concern of other parents CBS 13 spoke with.
I understand there's technically not laws fully broken, but it's alarming. Seeing the video, knowing the state of things.
The sheriff's department says it has not received any calls.
And it makes sense that would happen in California. And it makes more sense if you understand these people.
And this is crazy, man. That these things, and this is just, normal. Because he wants to normalize, every type of freakism. Because that's, part of Satanism. Because you had this thing he was pushing one time for MAP. Minor attracted person, trying to put a term, trying to romanticize, the madness of, pedophiles, PDF files. Okay. So he was trying to, romanticize that term, minor attracted persons. Okay. Give it a term. Okay, to try to normalize it, man. And then how that this some, because even dealing with these furries, because even though, you try to look for, these furries and what they're about, they try to make it seem as if it's just people that like dressing up as animals, man. These are adults, man. Y'all goddamn adults, man. What adults do this? This is not normal behavior, man. Okay, well, adults dress up as some goddamn animal, man. Okay, and they try to explain and say furry is simply someone interested in anthropomorphic animals. Okay, characters with human traits, talking animals, cartoon style art, mascot. Okay, now it says for many it is entirely non-sexual. Okay, it's about art and storytelling. All this is satanic, man. These animals with human traits, all this is Satanism. Okay, it says yes, like many fandoms, anime, cosplay, gaming, there is a sexual subset, but it does not define the whole group. And my thing is, why? Okay, you have a pentagram, a red pentagram, which looks like blood on the back of the costume, and you just at a children's park. Okay? And the fact that, like he said, there's really no laws against, but then when the student, all right, use, the Bible as a source in the essay, okay, now you have, state legislators involved in it. Okay? This is crazy. It said within the furry community, a minority engaged in youth sexual content, which I don't even want to research what that is. It said that part is a fetish for those individuals, but it's not representative of all furries, whatever. And it's just a sick, disgusting world, man. It's just the age of Satan. And they try to downplay wickedness, but then you mention the Most High, all right, and it's a full out protest. They take to the streets. you reference the Most High, okay, and they take to the streets, man. But the fairies, okay, these niggas just pull up. Sit down in the park with children. These niggas you don't know who is in the mask. You don't know, what's going on with these niggas, man. Okay, and it just shows you the age that we in, the system that we in is satanic, man. In the system of Satan, children are unprotected. Children and women are unprotected. The most vulnerable, man. Whether it's to actual abuse, mental abuse, psychological trauma. Okay? Because it's just a wicked world. And see, this is why we're in the time now. The Lord is getting ready to judge, man. Okay? So it's good that the devil is full steam ahead with his new world order, because that just means he's closer to their judgment. Okay? So let's go here. Joel 3:11 says, assemble yourselves and come all you heathen. Because the heathen have always been drawn to Satan. Esau, Edom, he's just the most in tune with Satan. So the Lord is assembling all these heathens for a war so he can judge. As you finna go into it. Joel 3:11 says, assemble yourselves and come all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Shai. Cause thy mighty ones, okay, to come down. The angels are going to intervene in this war, okay, under Yahweh Shai. Okay, he said, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge the heathen, all right, round about. And it's going to be Yahweh Shai. His chariot is going to be the throne of judgment. And Father chariot, all right, that Yahweh Shai is coming in, is going to be that chariot of judgment, where he's going to sit and judge the heathen, Yahweh Shaphat. Okay, because you go into that word, Yahweh Shaphat. All right, then we'll get verse 13, but you go into Yahweh Shaphat. Okay, in the Hebrew. Okay. Let me see. I think I changed it up. Yeah, they took it off. Yeah. Yeah, they took it off. Because it used to go into the Most High's final judgment. But yeah, like they changed it up. Let me see. Hold on a minute. Oh, here we go. Yep. So you can go into the word Shaphat, which goes into judgment. Okay. It says to decide a controversy, to execute judgment. Okay. And the controversy in the earth. Okay. These heathens, right, are going after Satan, following Esau. Okay. And the Lord's going to come execute a judgment for that. Okay. And it says a theophanic, all right, event for final judgment, condemning and punishing, man. Okay, so the Lord is going to judge you heathens that, all right, are following Esau in this system of Satan. Okay, and this is going to be the final judgment for you heathens, man. Okay, because you'll never rise to power. You'll never, all right, be able to establish, your gods, or you'll never be able to follow Satan. Okay, make the earth satanic again. You're going to be in servitude forever, man. Okay, and you heathens are, Esau, Edom at the forefront. Okay, you've proven why you don't need to be in power. Okay, and it's why the Lord is coming. He's setting up, all right, great judgment. Okay, so let's finish this. So I can't even go out of there. Let's go here too. All right. So let's go back to Joel, the 3rd chapter, Joel 3:13. It said, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great," man. So the Lord finna reap the earth, man. Okay, he's finna burn, all right, the chaff, which is the worthless part, of the harvest. He's gonna gather his elect, okay, into the chariots, man. Okay, and he's gonna dispose of the chaff of the earth. Okay, because wickedness, is great in the earth, man, in this system of Satan. Okay, this is how we know this is not our rest, man. And this is what you niggas choose to sell out in. That's why you Israelites are gonna have your head down in the kingdom, man, because you chose to sell out in this satanic world and oppose the righteous kingdom of Yahushua, that's set to come. So that's the point. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters are edified once again, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations to the whole elect. Shalom.